Hi, welcome back. We are going to work on 12-2 a little bit more to get some more practice partitioning fraction bars. So the fraction bars we are going to be working with, the fractions that we'll be working with in this video are halves, fourths, and eighths, and then over here we have thirds and sixths. So we're going to practice partitioning our fraction bars into that many equal size pieces. So the easiest one is the half. So to make two equal pieces, we just want to find the center of the fraction bar. So I just drag my marker across the top and use my eyes to kind of estimate where the half would be, and then we just draw a line down the center. And I can fill in my unit fractions right there. So I have two pieces that are just about equal. Now, to make my fourths, I'm actually just going to make a half again, and then I can break each of those halves in half. So I'm going to go ahead and make that half line again. And now in order to make fourths, I just need to look at each of these pieces and break that in half. So right about here, and then right about here. So I've only drawn 3 lines, but I've got 4 pieces. And each one of those pieces will be 1/4. Fill that in. Alright, to make eighths, I'm going to break it in half, and then I'll break each half in half again, and then I'm going to break those in half again. So half, half, half. I'm going to draw my line down the center for my half. Notice how I'm keeping them all nice in line. And then I'm going to break each of those halves in half. And finally, now I have 4 pieces. I'm going to break each of those 4 pieces in half. And I should end up with 8 pieces that are just about equal. Let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 pieces. Let's count how many lines I made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I made 7 lines, but that gives me 8 pieces. And remember, we always want to count the pieces, not the lines, because when we're talking about fractions, we're talking about pieces. I'm going to go ahead and fill in my unit fractions. And it's okay if you're just using pencil, you don't need to have it color-coded. Alright, so halves, fourths, and eighths are probably the 3 easier ones. Each one gets a little bit more complicated, and now we're going to come over to our thirds. This one is a bit trickier and does take some practice. I'm going to read the directions on how I find my thirds. So first, I use both of my pointer fingers, and I move them around in order to make 3 equal-sized pieces. And once I do that, I pick up my pencil with one of my hands, keeping the other one in place on the fraction bar, and then I draw a line down where my finger is. Then I'll look at the other piece and cut that piece in half. And remember, if you ever don't think you have equal pieces, you can just revise it by erasing, and that's why it's always good to do this in pencil. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I take my 2 pointer fingers, and I like to have my pencil in my hand too. I take my 2 pointer fingers, and I'm going to use them to figure out where I would draw a line to have equal pieces. So clearly right here, this would not be equal, so I keep sliding my fingers around until I think I can see an equal piece here, in the middle, and then over on the end. And I think right about here would be where I'd want my 2 lines. So I'm going to use my hand that has my marker in it, and I'm going to leave this hand right where it is. I'm going to pick this one up, and I'm going to draw my line right there. So right now I have this small piece and this giant piece. So clearly these are not equal pieces yet, but now I'm going to look at this large piece and ignore this side for a moment. I'm going to cut this piece in half, right about there. And now when I look, I should have 3 pieces that are just about equal. They're not going to be perfect, but they should be pretty close. So here I have my 3 equal pieces. 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. And again, this is a bit tricky and does take some practice. Down here to make sixths, I'm actually going to make my thirds again, and then if I just break each third in half, that will give me my 6 equal pieces. So once again, let's practice making thirds, and at this time, if you want to pause the video and try to make the thirds on your own, that'd be great, and then meet me back here and we'll continue working through this. Alright, so I'm going to use my 2 fingers to find where my 3 equal pieces would be. I'm going to lift up the one with my marker in it. I'm going to draw a line down there. So now I have 2 unequal pieces. I'm going to cover up that small piece and just look at my larger piece and cut that piece in half. So now I'll have 3 equal pieces. And then my last step is going to be to cut each of those pieces in half. And now I have 2 pieces in there, 2 pieces in here, and 2 pieces in here. So I'm going to have 5 lines, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal pieces. I'm going to go ahead and label those unit fractions there. Perfect. Alright, so keep these notes handy, and just like before, we want to fold this note sheet in half, cut it down the line, and glue it in our notebook. Alright, and I will meet you back here for topic 12-3, and then just let your teacher know if you need any more practice. We do have additional activities to work on for dividing partitioning fraction bars into equal-sized pieces. Have a great day, and I'll meet you back here for the next video.